everybody, this is Hithrael here, and I wanted to walk through some of the changes coming out with beta patch 1.4.1. I'm going to do a bunch of these videos based on each of the major factions. Starting with the Aserai, there was no change to the recruit. The tribesmen now have Adarga shields. You can see it just faintly here in the image to the side. A little bit more prominently on the Aserai skirmisher, but all of them now have shields, which should help their survivability. Going over to the Footmen, their kite shield has been upgraded to an oval shield. You can just barely see it on their back. A little bit more coverage there. The skirmisher, their desert round shields are now studded Adargas. You can see it right here in the bottom of the image. The archer, their desert mail coifs have been replaced with an open desert helmet, so just slight difference on one of their variants there. For the master archer, they've got the closed helmet now, but previously they had the mailed variant. So a little bit less armor, makes them a little bit more lighter armored overall. Next up, the Tier 4 Infantry. Their Bound Adarga has been replaced with a Desert Oval Shield. So again, this is quite a bit larger shield than the Adarga, so should help them have more protection, do their mainline infantry role a little bit better. And then the same thing for the Veteran Infantry. Their Bound Adargas have been replaced with Southern Oval Shields. So overall, their infantry line got a improvement. Sorry for a little bit of noise, my neighbor's working on a project. The Mameluke soldier had a bound desert round shield added to their inventory, so now they are shielded. Again, Tier 2 seeing a nice little survivability increase with the addition of consistent shielding. The Mameluke regular, going back to the Mameluke soldier, the headscarf has been replaced with open desert helmets. So more this style of helmet compared to what they had before. And their civil armor has gotten an upgrade and is replaced with robes and tunics. So overall, pretty good survivability boost for the Mameluke soldier at Tier 2. The Mameluke regular, no particular changes. The Mameluke cavalry, their shields were replaced with desert round shields, so a little bit larger shield overall. Their armor looks like it got a little bit lighter. It's now been replaced with this leather lamellar. And their helmets have been replaced with desert helmets with mail. And I'll talk about this troop line in particular after I go past the heavy cavalry. Their shields have gotten a bit smaller, and they were replaced with the large Adarga, which I believe is one of the new shields that's been added. But you can see from the graphic between the cavalry and the heavy cavalry, just that shield profile is a little bit smaller between the two. One thing I really like about the change in the armor, can't speak to the gameplay changes yet, but there now feels like there's a much better progression as you move through the armor on these units. So the regular kind of has a heavy robe, into the addition of some leather, into the scaled armor. Lastly, for the regular troop tree, the Mameluke Guard, their armor has been replaced with a plated leather vest. I'm thinking that's a downgrade from what they had before, but I think some of it too is there's now a clearer step from Tier 3 into Tier 4 into Tier 5. Moving now into their noble troop line, the youth, and this bug remains in the game. They are identified as a infantry unit rather than cavalry. Their riding skill has decreased from 40 down to 30, and their bound Adarga has gotten a little bit worse and has been replaced with a regular Adarga. The tribal horseman now has learned how to walk a little bit better. The athletics have increased from 10 to 30, but with that the riding has decreased from 100 down to 80. For the Aserai, the stats changes impact the entirety of their noble line. The Ferris, the athletics increased from 15 up to 65. However, this unit took a pretty big skill hit, with riding decreasing from 150 down to 100, polearm from 125 down to 110, crossbow from 15 to 10, not that that matters particularly for this unit, but their throwing skill did increase from 80 up to 100. For the veteran Ferris, their armor was replaced with Southern Lamellar armor, giving them this nice golden sheen. And lastly, the Vanguard unit has changed quite a bit. So you'll notice that their brass lamellar has been replaced with stitched leather overmail. I don't really like this sudden kind of change in aesthetics between these units. The Mamelukes had a nice progression. I'm not quite so certain about this progression overall. It may just be a quick fix to maybe increase their armor. Again, I haven't looked up the values for this armor yet to see what the actual implications are for gameplay. But this unit got hit pretty hard with the nerf bat in some aspects, other aspects quite a bit better. So initially the athletics have increased from 60 up to 90. Their riding skill has dropped from 260 down to 170, but their one-handed has gone from 100 up to 170, so they should do quite a bit better once they're stuck into things now. Two-handed increased from 30 to 60, not a big deal. Bow increased from 40 to 65, not a big deal. And then their throwing skill decreased from 200 down to 140. And then lastly, the equipment change. Their bound Adarga has been replaced with an ornate Adarga, so it should hold up a little bit better in combat. So that's a run through of what's changed for the Aserai so far. Thanks for tuning in.